Hello and welcome, Sheriff again here, and today I want to show you another round in War Thunder in the simulator mode, and today a round in my Spitfire Mk24. I really like the Spitfire line of the British. I don't fly the British planes that often, but when I fly I really enjoy flying a Spitfire, and this time really the newest one, or the most modern one, the Spitfire Mk24. And I have to say I really like the Griffin versions of the Spitfire because of the very powerful engine. Your climb rate is just insane. You can outclimb all of your enemies, should be really no problem. At least when you fly with props, with jets, it's a other task and a bit harder, but still the plane is really capable of fighting every plane that comes across it. So here on the Norway map you already have a air start, so you start on a certain altitude and with a certain speed. I use that speed to climb directly to maybe 4 or 5 kilometers of altitude, and I climb directly to the German spawn because I want to sneak up the climbing Germans. Most of the time the Germans climb not that fast. The Spitfire climbs faster than a K4 or a Dora, so I climb directly to the spawn, and I really like to intercept them in a climb. Most of the times I don't really expect an enemy fighter there. They are watching out for bombers, or they're watching out for the bots which are flying above the main objective. So sometimes it's really easy there to sneak up on a German plane and get your first kill. And speaking of it, I spot Focke-Wulf 190 Dora 9 climbing towards the middle of the map, and I start stalking him. I see him a bit below, so I have the chance to get a decent closure speed so I can catch up to him. But before I could reach a good position to shoot, he started a very steep dive, and the Dora 9 is simply better in a steep dive. And right before I wanted to break the chase, I see another Dora 9 crossing. Oh, it's a D13 I think, crossing my screen, so I think he has the same energy state than me, or even a better energy state. It's always better to engage the enemy which is higher up and or at a higher energy state, so I attack the D13 which was passing me, and he makes it really easy to hit him because after his climb he stalls out and gives me a perfect target to hit. And this makes my first kill. After a kill I'm always a bit anxious and stressed that I'm being chased or that somebody could be behind me, because you have to focus for some time on the enemy and you have no chance to check your six regularly when you are chasing somebody. So after a kill I always look around and want to see the enemies, and I'm even more nervous when I see two dots behind me, but it seems they are friendlies. I could see that in the replay. Of course I didn't knew that in the round, but there were friendlies. There were a lot of friendlies in the area. After I turn around I see that a lot of contacts directly in front of me, but I hesitate to fly directly through them. A couple of reasons. First, you can only focus on one target, and while you are focusing on one target you get easily sneaked up and killed. Most of the targets are above me or on the same altitude, and I hate to have enemies on my same altitude. It's always better to get them below you. Most of you know that, I know, but it's still important for me to mention that. I hate flying right through a furball with a lot of enemies or friendlies on the same altitude and energy state. So I bring the furball on my 9 to 10 o'clock and I start climbing, and then I see a small dot directly in front of me. And it's again a Dora, and I can attack him in a head-on-ish attack, but of course he couldn't put his guns on me, so I was completely safe, and I was able to hit his cooling system, so his engine should start to give him some trouble now. And at that point I'm a bit wondering about his playstyle, because he's in a Dora 9 and like you saw earlier, it's really easy to outdive a Spitfire in a Dora. The only thing he could do now to save his life is simply dive away, put his nose down and dive back home. but instead of that he's trying to fight me, which is a huge mistake at that point. First he's trying to outclimb me. As that fails, he's trying with a rolling scissorish maneuver to get me to an overshoot or to miss my shots. And after that fails, he's trying to stall fight me. He's climbing until the point we are both about to stall, but I use my flaps to avoid that successfully, and I can still maintain my advantageous position. And I just wait until he falls directly in front of my guns, and now he is rolling around and he's trying to avoid my shooting position, but that fails, and I can hit his right wing and get hits all over his plane. His plane is very banged up, and at that point I decide to let him go. I think he has enough damage that I can get his kill. I got the crit, so when he's trying to land or when he's trying to get home, he should have a hard time, and when he's crashing into the sea, I get the kill. And sure enough, a few minutes later, I get the kill. To the next engagement, I really don't have a lot to talk. I mean, I see a TA-152 above the main objective. He's getting a bit of flak. I see the dot from some distance. I come from a higher altitude and I can sneak up, and the rest I don't commentate. That sneak up kill marks my third kill for the round. It's a pity that sneak up kills in War Thunder are really a rare occasion right now, because the sound system of the game changed a couple of weeks ago, and it's not that easy to sneak up. You hear planes from 800 meters a distance, and it's really easy to spot them by sound, and you can avoid getting sneaked up simply by listening to the sound of enemy planes. Yeah, it's a pity, I have to say. Especially because sneak up kills or kills without the notice of the enemy was a very common occasion in the Second World War, and they're at the moment almost not existent in War Thunder. But back to the round, a couple of seconds or minutes later I hear a distress call of a mate. And I see a Dornier flying directly to our bases, and I guess he wants to bomb them. I know Captain Obvious strikes, but I try to sneak up to the bomber. I know that a Dornier has a cockpit, so he can't see that easy to the rear like a B-17 for example. So I try to sneak up on him like it would be a fighter. I try to stay 20 degrees below his tail, and I try to fire some shots from a safe distance. I know the 20mm of the British do a lot of damage, even from a far distance away, and as he started to fire on me, I stopped that and I changed to plan B. I'm trying to get above him. I aim for a wing and I fire, and I'm lucky, I have to say. I tear his wing apart and he's going down. That was my fourth kill. At that point I plan to return to base. As you can see, I'm very low on ammo. I spent a lot of ammo in the beginning of the round. I was spamming around on the Doras, and now I'm low and I'm heading back home. And when you remember, after a kill I'm always a bit nervous and I expect that somebody is behind me, and in a couple of seconds you will hear the swoosh sound, or the skateboard sound like Ferric would say, from approaching BF-109. Let's wait a second, and now maybe you will see why I'm disliking the sound system. The BF-109 at that moment should have no problem to sneak up on me, but I was really able to hear the sound of an approaching engine from 800 meters, while I have a very loud engine 30 centimeters directly in front of me. So I shouldn't really hear anything what's outside of my cockpit, in my opinion. But of course, as you can see, the sound system was this time my advantage, so I could avoid to get killed. I could reverse the turn after I dodged him. I can turn a bit into him. He is starting to stall, and again we are fighting a stall fight. We are way below the speed you would have liked to fly planes like this. We are flying around the 200 kph mark, which is very, very dangerous. It's very easy to enter a stall, and like my enemy does here, and I tried to climb after him and get the kill, but unfortunately I don't have the turning ability at the moment to kill him. I tried to use my flaps to avoid to get into a stall, but funny enough, exactly that is what's causing my stall, and I'm spinning around, but I can catch my plane in time and I'm able to slot in behind him. As you remember, I'm very low on ammo, and so I don't want to spend more ammo as I have to, so I really wait until I'm very close to him. In the first good shot, I'm able to take out his cooling system. You see he's leaking coolant. I'm coming now very close to him, and in the second proper burst I almost tear his whole plane apart. You see a lot of debris is coming off his plane. He has now a lot of trouble to fly his plane. In the replay I could see that I took out his complete engine. The engine is cutting out by now. After he's coming out of the stall, he's circling down and has no chance to catch the plane anymore. This marks my 5th kill. That makes me an ace in a flight in that round. And of course at that point I want to get back to the airfield and want to refuel and to rearm so I can continue my fight. Now we are skipping a few minutes of the round. What's happened is I was taking off and I was surprised by a Dora. I could chase him a bit. I was climbing after him, but this time he was playing the clever move and was diving back to base. I had no chance to follow him. But of course I decided to follow him at a certain altitude. I'm now at a decent altitude, but not that high, and I'm approaching the enemy airfield. And I can hear again some engine noise in the area, but this time I'm not able to locate the source of the sound, so he should be in the area, and I climb in a steep climb to get some altitude. I hope he's on a lower energy state, but I'm not that lucky this time. He is really close to me. I don't know that in the round here, but I could see that in the replay. He's chasing me all the time. And at some point he's opened the fire and I get some shots. He's not hitting at that moment. I try to avoid the shots with wild turns and some barrel rolls, and I just try to give him a hard time to hit me. That's all here. Maybe you see this is really the first time I'm on the complete defensive. I mean, I had a BF-109 earlier which was chasing me, but I could turn the table really quick and could get back on his tail. But this time I have a really hard time to take him off. And as you can see, the Mk24 is not that a good turner like the predecessors of the Spitfire. And after a few turns I see I can't get rid of him, and after I see that my sustained turns are not working, I start to initiate some slight flat scissors, so to throw off his aim furthermore. And like you can see, it works at that moment. Later on I do them not properly enough, so he can land some shots, but I'm lucky and he's not shooting me down. I'm really close to stall speed and I overdo it a bit, so I lose momentarily the control of my plane, but it works. I can catch my plane with the landing flaps in time. I can catch it before it reaches the ground, and I'm lucky a teammate is in the area and is taking him out. And that's for this round. A really nice round, was a lot of fun, 5 kills to my name, no kill after the takeoff, but I don't complain. A really good round. I hope you liked it. Finally another match report in English after some time. I know I promised to do them more often, but I had a lot to do at work and stuff, so I wasn't really able to do more match reports. But we will see if I can do more in the future. It would be really great, because they are really fun to make. And if you like what I'm doing, consider to subscribe, and I hope I see you next time. Bye bye.